Okay, you're going.
Okay. So I'm here with, do you mind if I say your name?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm here with Mike, and he was the evacuee from Paradise. He lost everything, him and his family. So here's the money that was donated from A Planet Truth, and it's for you guys to do whatever you feel that you need to do with.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no
First
problem.
help that I got from any of this.
Good, well, glad that they could help.
Oh yeah.
So, thank you.
Hey, Awakening Truthers. Welcome to another video from A Plain Truth. You know, out of the darkness comes some great silver lining, and the people that are rallying now and sending in support and helping out, it's just awesome. And as I stated, we will document the money being given out. 100% that you donate will be given to the people. We just saw the first person. He'd lost everything. He's a lumberman. He's going to buy a new chainsaw. He says, this will get me back on my feet. He was broken. Now he has hope. We need to bring hope to these people. All right. So I just want to give a shout out and a huge thank you to these people. I hope you don't mind me putting your names in there, but you're true heroes, folks, sending in money to someone off the internet that you don't know to hopefully give this stuff out to people. But I did it in Hurricane Harvey, and I'm doing it here. And we're getting support in Chico. We're getting places set up to help donate money, clothes, and whatnot, and find the victims and help them out, since nobody else is. So we're the ones and the only ones we can count on. So here is the PayPal, and also on Facebook, which we'll get into in a minute, has a link in there as well. But here's the PayPal account that you can donate to if you wish. And again, we will make sure that they get 100% of the money you donate. All right, so this is my Facebook page that I set up about, 6-8 months ago. I don't care for Facebook at all, but it gets the word out to other people that might not see the YouTube videos, and I can post daily updates here on Facebook. So my call sign is JME Lee, so please go over to there, and there's also a donate button if you wish to donate. But here I just wanted to show you some of the latest news. It's kind of an easy way I can present it to you without having to download post, and we can go through this here, and you can check on Facebook. But if you don't have Facebook, I'll find other ways to get it to you. Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy, was pulled off the plane before boarding on 9/11. He's got the creator of the Family Guy. He's got a new movie out called Orville. What is Orville? Orville is the Orville Dam that busted last year and flooded the whole towns. And there's also some other things going on. It's right down from Chico, from Paradise we're talking about. Seth MacFarlane's coming out with a new movie called The Orville, about a space. Look at the aliens. Whatnot, the messages, notice the date, 9/10, Fox is 666, 9/10, 9/11. Here you go, and here's a little map here you can click on as well. Also the donations from these wonderful people helping people out. This is how we can help, folks. This is what you can do. Anything you get will be donated. All right, so what do we have here? We have, this was sent to me by another concerned citizen who was waking up as well. Storm tracker forecast for Paradise. Let me get this up. Look at the number of folks in Paradise. This is after the fires, right after to wipe away the evidence. 666. Forecast. Paradise. Orville right next to it. 515. 6 and 5 is 11. We'll go through the rest of these numbers. But how did 6.6 inches get? And this town of Truckee got 0.84. Higher elevation should get more rain. Redding, 2.17. 666, 4 inches more rain. Give me a break. Oh, and how about this guy, James Lee Witt, who came here after Santa Rosa, Clinton's buddy, FEMA director. 66 people, a death toll, 600 people reported missing. And look at this guy with his eyes closed. I can't believe you're saying this stuff. And then we have this one here, misery growing. Let me move this over so you can see it. Misery grows in Campfire, 63 dead, 631. 3 plus 3 is 6. There's your 666. This is the other game they're doing now, folks. This is horrendous. They're saying, hey, if you want to find your missing, you got to submit the DNA samples. 60 Minutes was all over the Paradise fire they covered this last Sunday. 60 Minutes, they talked about people having to give their DNA samples, how they got mobile trucks. Give your DNA samples, folks. Give it to us, and we'll find your missing. There's something really bad about the 23andMe, folks. Do not give them or your child DNA samples, please. All right, and then we got MAGA, Make America Great Again. Well, it turns out in the priesthood of Mendes, MAGA, the Church of Satan, includes Magister, Magistry, and Magus. MAGA, right above Paradise, is Magalia, M-A-G-A. Make America Great Again. Trump card being played. Wake up, folks. You think Trump's going to save your ass? Let's make America great again. How many times do they keep repeating the same bullshit? Please also stop with the David Wilcox post. That guy has no credibility whatsoever. I've been following his his lies for years. Benjamin Fulford, the White Hats, the alleged threats on his life never happened to him, the prophecies that never come true. Stop it. This guy is a shill. He's a controlled opposition. And then you can just read these documents here. And then this is also smoke billowing out. This is how they're using drones or combating with wildfires. They got sensors that can read inside your homes. Also, this guy, Anthony Haywood. Anthony Haywood on Facebook. Please friend him. He's putting out incredible information. He's got incredible databases. All right, and how about this one here? And the chief of CAL FIRE is Ken Pimlott, but on the executive staff is this happy dude, Mike Moeller, director of communications. Look at this guy's bio, folks. Worked in heavy equipment. Then he worked as full-time fighter for Boeing's Aeronautics and Missile Systems. Boeing's Aeronautics and Missile Systems as a firefighter. Then he was promoted to fire captain in San Diego, battalion chief, Southern Region. He was also continuing to build the department's, quote, non-traditional media exposure, PSYOPs, with projects such as Netflix Fire Chasers and Extreme Weather and National Geographic to prime the pump. Then he's got several statewide cadres of working groups, including S420, CMCI, and AAIMS. If anybody wants to do some research about what these are about, I haven't had time. I'd love it. Also, he holds, get this, he holds a seat at FEMA's advisory committee. See how it's all connected? They all work for the same. Chief Moeller also serves as honor guard, and he's currently enrolled after all he's done, in the Military University's Emergency and Disaster Management Program. All right, then moving on. A year later, after the breeze here in Santa Rosa, there's a fire station just up the road here, absolutely decimated, but right outside the fire station is the garbage cans. And the garbage cans are untouched. Let me show you this picture. And if a picture is worth 10,000 words, there you go. Fire hydrant, hose, plastic. Plastic does not get burned in microwaves, folks. It melts, but it does not get burned. More evidence. Fire station taken out. Garbage cans still okay. And moving on, I'm getting a lot of great intel from people that are up there reporting back about what's going on with PG&E. As I've said before, hundreds and hundreds of trucks, huge staging area, weeks before. Office Emergency Services in the FEMA camp, 20, 30 acres, massive operation. Weeks before we're set up, we have confirmed that they were set up weeks before the event of November 8th, okay? So here, PG&E is contracting companies to dig up earth. People are normally riggers or people who dig holes. These companies are contracted from other states to dig up the earth for power lines and other stuff. Some of these workers are combat vets in midlife, so the intel is solid. These workers bunk in boxcars that have triple stacked bunks. We need to get pictures. They're not allowed to take photos. If they do, they're terminated on the spot. We're talking rail car motels or around the compounds. You've documented. I might hear the same when the job is done. So why are they burying lines? What are they doing? It's paradise. They should be helping the people rebuild. Yet they're burying lines. We saw trenching going on up there as well. Scrolling down. Check out this document about microwave weaponry. They've had it for a long, long time. And anybody that thinks that microwave weaponry, lasers, directed energy weapons is new, please think again. Just go down to your 7-Eleven or your Walmart or wherever and go buy a laser pen, a green light laser pen for a few bucks that you can shine up into a pilot's eyes 2,000 feet in the air, and the FAA will contact you for interrupting his flight. You can get this at 7-Eleven. What do you think the military has had for 50 years in DARPA? Speaking of the military, this is another huge photograph. Huge photograph. Now, this is a CAL FIRE truck, which looks like a 50 caliber gun. So some are also talking about it might be a laser, but it looks like a 50 caliber to me. What the heck is a gun placement doing on top of CAL FIRE at the Paradise Fires? Does this make any sense to anyone? They're not shooting looters. Why weren't they helping people? And they got guns with binoculars on top. This is a long-range rifle. This is meant to shoot a very, very long range. We're just asking the questions, just showing the evidence, just seeing what we see. All right, moving on. Dianne Feinstein, her husband, Bloom, I used to sit next to in Wall Street when I was working on Wall Street at the Hamburg and Quist building on 1 Bush Street in San Francisco. He was right next door. Nice guy. But guess what he gets? He gets all the money for $25 billion in taxpayer money that just awarded her husband's real estate firm for a lucrative contract to sell foreclosed properties at compensation rates higher than industry norms. He's also got the contract for the rail lines. Here, let me move this over. Corrupta, California, one state controlled consortium for the $1 billion contract for the high-speed rails. See how it's all connected. And also, you know, we got to get into Satan, the Prince of this World. This is a book by Admiral William Guy Carr, PDF. Please order it. Please look up here, Prince of the World, Satan, and understand what we're up against and who. This was a Canadian Naval Intelligence officer, commander, who wrote about how they're using the Luciferian Creed to execute their agenda. All right, now Magalia is right above Paradise. MAGA, Make America Great Again. This is the theme. Trump is a gold miser with Trump Towers. I showed you the satanic connection to MAGA. Is this all connection? Trump's all gold. This is Trump's house upside, all in gold. This is Trump with Governor Jerry Brown. He went to Fordham Jesuit school. He went to, not sure he went, but he was a Jesuit minister. What is this about the pigs flying outside of the Trump Towers? Stop it with the Trump folks. He's one of them. He's not going to save your ass. He's not going to save your ass. And then The Economist with Trump on there, another great breakdown done on this site here on the YouTube channel as well. And again, this is another first-person critical narrative talking about how many were dead, what happened to them. Many people are reporting that there was torches going on and things happening there. This is a picture that Anthony Haywood showed of bullet holes in the back of this car, folks. It wasn't a fire, it was bullet holes. All right, and then another one lived off Central Park. And there was no wind at all Wednesday night because PG&E calling 7 times on that weekday saying the power would be shut off due to 40-mile-an-hour winds. The event happened November 8th, the next day on Thursday, where I have 10 wind chimes outside, and they stayed awake all night listening for the wind at 2 a.m., and then they finally came, but they were like concentrated. This is person after person after person, and we also have documentation that PG&E said there was no wind, so that's why they didn't shut off the power. And everybody's saying, like 60 Minutes, oh, the winds. Bullshit. I lost my home to Paradise. I know my home was targeted. I know they used DEW. PG&E came to my home weeks before and put a new device on my meter. It was suspicious from the beginning. No record exists that we called PG&E and requested proof from them. Cover up. And here's the Bohemian Grove, which is just about 10 miles west of where I am here. Cremation of Care. Cremation. California. Cala Cremation. Is that what's going on here, folks? Looks that way to me. All right, this I did on California cremation. You can look it up online. Bloodlines of Illuminati by Fritz Springer. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Anderson. Very important document. Here's a guy talking about the lasers he was working on, weaponry back in the 80s. Very eloquent. Goes into great detail. They can target anybody with their lasers. Talked to my friends who went to Paradise, flew over it. I flew over Paradise, aerial view, then drove through. It's all gone. Asked them where did the evacuees go. So many fucking people in Chico filling up the rentals and taking their insurance money and buying up anything for sale. Some landlords are kicking out tenants and selling the house for way more than was worth before the fire. So this is what we're seeing is that people are getting paid for their cars. I had a Mustang. Oh, here's $10,000. I had a boat. Here's $15,000. I had some classic car. Here's $30,000. They're giving the insurance companies are giving away massive money to people just saying. Here in Santa Rosa, you had to document what you lost. You had to show what you were missing. And we're not seeing, they're just giving away money. The insurance companies are up there. Why? And what does that do? It drives up rental prices. More people on the streets, less people can afford it. Same thing that happened here in Santa Rosa. So what happens when more people can't afford it? What happens then? They get on the streets. And then when people are on the streets and people complain, they bring in more police force. Problem reaction, solution. Moving on, we've been having songs written from survivors. I'm going to publish that. People speaking their heart out. And people are suffering, folks. This is the dark night of the soul. You watching this, all of you, just stay strong. Know you're not alone. This is hard work for everyone. And I feel your love. I feel all your support. We need people to keep coming up there, helping us out. We need boots on the ground, folks. We need people up there reporting before they lock it all up and take it over. Look at this, folks. This is from Paradise Fire. You're going to tell me that was a forest fire? I mean, give me a break. I mean, that's a hole in the ground. That's a laser shot. I mean, it's not smart meters. And then, again, the mind control stuff. Kathy O'Brien telling her story. I mean, if you think that your president is on your team, think again. They're all in the same club and we're not in it. United Nations signed by this guy, this scumbag. And, Trump's no different, folks. Obama's no different, folks. They're just puppets. They're really puppets, so please stop talking about them. This is when we went up there, this shot. Supposedly Shelley took it, and this is another critical information shot. Look at the tree. Look at the scar lines on the side going out, starting thick and getting thinner. You can't see it in this picture below, but there's a hole at the bottom of the trunk. Now, what we noticed was that all the trees are burnt up to about 20 feet, and it starts from the ground and burns up. And then above that, the tree limbs were fine. So from above, there's no forest fire, but below there's ground fire and then these tree trunks. Look at the laser going up here. Look at how this did. Well, when we were up there, we saw PG&E cutting down these trees because they're lumber. And also notice over here, let me see if I can get it in, click it a little closer. Now, this is very important evidence we saw in Concal, which is right above Paradise, where they're cutting down the trees. Trees are healthy, folks. The bark you see in the middle here, there was a hole in the bottom. The ground fire would go up to the trees about 20 feet and stop, and only the bark. Take a look over here. You see the surgical lasers that went in? It only cut out the bark, but left the prime wood, the prime ponderosa pines available for lumber. It can be harvested. It's perfect. And look at these lines here, these laser lines. It went in and then it went out through the tree. Look at how big that cut was. And then look at these. They start wide and they get narrower. So it says it started from the inside and then went outward. More evidence of directed energy weaponry. No smart meters around here. And a shout out to supposedly Shelley. She was with us and she spotted this and turn the car around, and glad she did, because this is big evidence. And the other thing I want to note too is that these trees again were burned from the ground up to about 20 feet. I'll show you more pictures in the next video about how these companies are harvesting the wood. Red Emerson, the largest landowner, bigger than Ted Turner, wealthier than Bill Gates, owns the Sierra Pacific lumber area and makes money on harvesting firewood. So they torched it. They only burned the bottom half. They started the ground fires. The trees above weren't touched, and they're now going to harvest the wood. All right, sent to me. Living in Paradise, her brother's home was destroyed, and the insurance companies are paying off everyone fast. I want to let you know, in case you didn't, that I've massaged 4 to 5 CAL FIRE people who have told me that the same as the car fire up in Redding, that houses were just blowing up, which goes along with what you've said in recent videos. I have clients who said they were outside of their house and they could see fire coming towards them, and then all of a sudden their houses just blew up. No embers or anything around them. CAL FIRE said the fire was moving at 30 miles an hour. I've massaged people from Concal who had to go to the lake for safety tell me that the fire was behind them, yet little fires kept popping up along the road as they were driving to the lake. I massaged a deputy who told me that the nuclear medicine at the Feather River Hospital is leaking into the ground. My brother lost his house in Paradise. I've seen several videos with melted rims, yet he has a 6-foot metal knight that stood by the front door. Dog, beware of dog. And that didn't melt, and his house is obliterated. On the higher-ups at the CAL FIRE, one of the higher-ups at CAL FIRE told me that there was 2 different ignition sites the morning of the 8th. But the call from Polga came way before the one from Paradise. So all resources were sent to Polga fire with no one left to fight the Paradise fire. I hear stuff every day from people who lived in Paradise that are regular clients. This is just what I can remember. I'm going to help pass along the information. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And again, a big a big shout out to Anthony Haywood. He came up with these, how they mark the vehicles when you exit to tell if there are bodies in it or not. Hastily search indicated these are finding bodies if they're found at what date. It's all part of the code they use on the side of the car, so we need to get people in there to help. And you can see on here the X's on the sides of the cars. That's what we're talking about. XX, did they find any bodies inside? And again, here's another picture from supposedly Shelley. Look at the tree burnt. All the other trees are fine. Look at the limbs. All the trees burnt here. All the other trees are fine. Look at them burned up to 20 feet, but that's not touched. Again, scorched, not scorched. How does that happen unless it was a precision energy attack? Moving on. 60 Minutes. They're the mouthpiece. They're the ones that get the narrative out. They did it on the Paradise Fire. Everybody's forgotten in the world about the Paradise Fires. And 60 Minutes does a piece a month later, a hit piece. I'm going to take that thing apart. They want everybody to give their DNA codes. They want to make you sorrowful. They want to make you fearful. Does that look like a forest fire to you folks? In any way, shape, or form, a forest, trees fire. Look at this. Devastation we're seeing everywhere. This was another gentleman sent me. This is down in North Grand Canyon, seeing trees just singed. Fire captain about the balls being dropped to start backfires. He said it didn't make sense. They're dropping them way too close to the fire lines. Again, it's in our face. Air Jordan utility blackout. Release date November 29th, 2018. Utility blackout. Another important document here. Let me open this one up because this is critical. So keep in mind when listening to this, we showed about this fire executive, CAL FIRE executive working at Boeing. Here's from Lockheed Martin, the biggest offensive contractor in the country.
Advancements to a laser weapon system that was developed by Lockheed Martin have allowed it to successfully stop a vehicle. From more than 1 mile away, the fiber optic laser called the Advanced Test High Energy Asset made contact with the truck and brought it to a complete halt. The laser blasted through the engine manifold and left a clean hole straight through the hood. For this test, the truck was situated on top of a platform and was left with its motor and drivetrain running to mimic a realistic scenario. Lockheed Martin's chief technology officer stated, "We are investing in every component of the system. This test represents the next step to providing lightweight and rugged laser weapon systems for military aircraft, helicopters, ships, and trucks." According to the company, the truck demonstration was the first time a 30-kilowatt single-mode fiber laser weapon system prototype was used in field testing. The system utilizes multiple lasers that are basically combined into one, and Lockheed Martin claims it's more efficient and deadly than a number of single 10-kilowatt lasers that have been created and put to use.
And again, we have more evidence here. Anybody question it's not a directed energy attack, folks? Anybody now? Look at the mailbox. That's wood. Sitting on wood. Look at the trees totally scorched with a hole in the middle of the engine so the car would stop so they could hit them. I mean, I'm sorry, but the evidence is overwhelming. And those of you saying I'm making stuff up, it's hyperbole and all this, wake up, folks. Please, wake up fast. And there's another one on this story here. Let's keep rolling on. Fort McMurray is not in Montreal, folks. I get that. Alberta. Sorry, I made a mistake. I have to correct it, but I get it wrong once in a while. This is the Beast Fire. This is what originally got me on it when I think it was in Truth by Grace reported that didn't make sense what was going on at the Fort McMurray fire with whole cars being torched, needing 3,000 degrees. This was a one-day fire that lasted 15 months and kept going on and on. This has been going on all around the world, in China, in Portugal, in Spain, in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, North Carolina, Boston, Colorado, all over the world. We're seeing other cars in Savoy, Italy, the Maseratis or alleged Maseratis that were torched on the dock. I mean, this is happening all over. And then you got this knucklehead, Jesuit minister Moonbeam Brown, telling this is new abnormal. And he came back, folks. He came back to say this. He called it the new normal. And now he came back recently and said this is now the new abnormal and it'll be going on for the next 10, the next 15, the next 20 years. They're going to be torching us out of here, folks. The floods, the fake hurricanes. it's war. There's no other way to say it, folks. All right, another one. It took a mere 36 minutes for the fire to destroy the city of Paradise. It would take only 15 minutes for Placerville to suffer the same fate. This is the neighbor town starting to worry and starting to speak about, prophesizing or speaking about, are we next, as they try to prepare. Again, more evidence from the wonderful Anthony Haywood. Look at the gas station is kept. They keep the assets. The hospitals here in Sutter Hospital was kept, but right next door it was all torched. The Keysight Laser Technology Company, formerly Hewlett Packard, here in Fountain Grove wasn't touched, but everything else around Fountain Grove was torched. The hospital up in Paradise wasn't touched. They made a big deal about that. People were fleeing to safety. They got the green fences. That's the other thing. See these green fences here? These green fences are going up everywhere, and we saw that around the hospital as well. But how the heck can this happen? Can you even fathom how a forest fire could cause this to happen? Unreal. Moving on. This is hard. All right, Beale Air Force Base, Marysville, is about 40 miles as the crow flies from Paradise, right above the Oroville Dam. They've got the PAWS radar, high-intensity radar machine, radio frequency. This is from U.S. Air Force Blue Light Beale Air Force Base, National Reconnaissance Organization and National Reconnaissance Office, coordinates directed energy beams, documented. Capstone Company, look it up, folks, Capstone Mining, Capstone Fire, Capstone, Washington, D.C. I have called Beale before a few years back on chemtrails. They forwarded me around and were particularly laughing on the phone, practically laughing on the phone. I knew they would deny knowledge. I asked them, how can you not know what is in airspace? You are the Air Force. The woman in the PR department said, ma'am, call the Ag department. All right, my backup channels, folks, please sign for Backup Plain Truth. There's another guy up here north of me doing some great work, investigative reporting, Greg Erickson. He's got some very good articles. PG&E installing bulletproof glass at the Reading Payment Center. Why are they installing payment glass? Because everybody's blaming PG&E. Let's take it up a few notches, folks. Let's blame the real culprits of the New World Order that is the Old World Order. The Vatican, the City of London, and Washington, D.C. What is the date of Washington, D.C. founding? No one knows. The President, Supreme Court, the law of the land, the Congress. What date was it founded? It was formed as a corporation on February 21st, 1871. What does the District of Columbia mean? Nobody knows. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. It's all legalese. They're legalese. That's why we're under Roman Latin law. Washington, D.C. used to be called Rome, Maryland. Look it up. The Potomac used to be called the Tiber River. Look it up. Look it up. All right, Feather River Bulletin. This is another contact, a lady that worked on the water board in Quincy. I'm going to go up and talk to her tomorrow. This is talking about the power outages in Plumas County. Also, she's going to document how some wonderful people with the Toys R Us started opening up trucks and feeding people until FEMA came by and threatened them and shut them down if they continued to help people. Cannot make this stuff up. All right, especially Northern California, I live here. I've seen the very huge weird clouds, 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. Fires allegedly began at 6:30 a.m. This is the day of the fires on November 8th. I was given a link to a sat showing something hitting the ground up of the camp and car. I and many other people saw lasers flashing all over the place. We also watched the PG&E meters just blow up for no reason. The fire had not made it to Paradise urban area to spark them. When they went off, it was all over. People lost everything, who have no local family members to go to. We're staying at the Walmart Chico parking lot. We went to supposedly Shelley and I went to the parking lot there, and there was maybe 30 tents, and then we came back again 3 days later, they're all gone. Maybe 20 RVs in the parking lot, all gone. Where did they go? The community and the world have given heavily everything you can imagine. Money, paymaster cards, phone, gift cards for stores. The Toys R Us building is vacant at the time of the fire. Trump came down to the fire areas and said, open up the vacant buildings to get those who are out in tents and Walmart undercover. All hotels are fully packed surrounding areas. Houses for rent have quadrupled. Community people have opened up their homes, so many people is amazing. There were no children on the bus. How did they know this? I don't know. I was in Paradise from day 2 bringing out animals and anyone we found. Oroville Dam's concrete was subpar. We watched the soaked, flooded ground drop little by little with that dam. I am sad to hear of all the BS being said. You're right about the directed energy weapons, but that is about it. Red Cross, who I do not like, is still here. FEMA is still here. There's money especially for children's school needs, sports equipment. Not that many are in the spirit personally, but provide a new normal. Help the kids with something to look forward to and give thanks to being alive. The checks are not their full coverage amounts, but near half of what the second half to be given to their assessments are made. FEMA says that those who leave the area for shelter who are not registered with them will not be given help. Same thing happened here. Due to the level of fraud that always happens, so now you see there are families staying at Walmart. Not anymore. Walmart requested people be moved off their property. Thank you, Walmart. Sam Walton, martial law. Sam Walton was U.S. Naval Intelligence, and he also designed the Japanese internment camps, and that's why all the retail stores look like they could be converted to re-education camps with their towers. Ah, boy. All right, so there are families in Chico who welcomed hundreds of strangers. Let's keep this truthful. There are no military vehicles other than the convoy vehicles to bring in the personnel. That's not true at all. We have pictures of them stationed with military guns on top of them. So that's not true, but we're trying to flesh out the truth. So people are saying this and that, and we're trying to get to the truth. We have a large group of police and personnel who lost everything but the uniforms on their back. They're still on the jobs. Yet we have tow truck drivers who worked with the guys saying no one they knew was there. It was all militarized police. So where's the local police? Well, now they're probably back in there helping. Aaron Rodgers. Again, local boy. Hey, that's great, but why is, Butte County, he's from Butte County, just happens he's the top quarterback promoting Butte County, bringing attention. Now, they're bringing attention and bringing money? I don't know. We'll see. But, where's the money going to? We're giving money to people who are saying they're not getting help from anybody. Where is the money going to? Where are the people going to the Red Cross centers that I went to personally and were being shut down? 4 of them. They had 90 in the camp we were at that had the norovirus people in there. He said who worked there, the guard who worked there, who was there on November 8th, said he's been staged. November 8th, he was there staged at the day the event started. He was brought in from Georgia, saying at the other camp he was at, there was 300. So if there's 4 camps averaging 150, 300 in one, 90 in the other, then we're talking about 600 people. I mean, where are the people, folks? I've seen the fire with my own eyes. I've seen odd beams of light flashing. I've seen gas meters just blow up. I've seen electrical, what they are blow. Under hoods of vehicles, I know we have confirmed 140 dead, with a minimum of 1,500 missing. Well, we're talking about a minimum of 30,000 people. And numbers here don't make any sense. So there's something hugely unaccounted for. You can say what you want, but there's a mass number unaccounted. All right, so Governor Brown refused a direct order from the President of the United States to stand down his sanctuary city crap or lose Fed funding. Moonbeam raised the bar to sanctuary cities. Politics, folks, it's just ridiculous to give these people energy. They're all on the same team. And if you don't think so, get out Heavy Metal magazine from 1990 and read the 12-page cartoon that talked about Trump building his wall, the Trump wall. 1990, they were writing about Trump putting in a wall. He's on the same team. So again, how do we know? Well, I went to Red Cross. I went to Georgia. I went to Houston after Hurricane Harvey, and $450 million of our money was donated to the Red Cross. Not one person out of the 50 I interviewed 3 weeks later had seen the Red Cross. Very few have seen the Red Cross, and I said I'm getting an interview, hopefully with a lady who works at Red Cross who's appalled with what she sees and what is going on there. All right, John Milton's book, Paradise Lost, 1667, is about the biblical story of the fall of man, the temptation of Adam and Eve by the fallen angel Satan, and their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Why torch paradise, you ask? It's about Satan's victory over God when they tempted Eve with the forbidden fruit, which led Adam and Eve to be expelled from paradise with their subsequent fall. The fire started on the 8th of November. It was 8 days after Satan's expulsion from paradise that Satan returned to tempt Adam and Eve with the fruit of forbidden knowledge. The 8th is also 1 day before the 9th of November, 9/11, an 11 year, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8. Therefore, the fire started on the eve of 9/11, Adam and Eve in the fall of paradise. Another Luciferian ritual, thoughts and prayers for all victims. Shout out to No Lead Mons for providing this critical information. All right, it's about touchless torture, a whole other subject that we should get into. And then the color revolutions, folks. This thing in France is all staged, just like the Occupy movement was staged. If it's a color revolution, you know it's staged. So please, stop with this. Look what they're doing in France. The people are rallying. What happened to the Occupy movement in 2011? It was there for 9 months. They gathered the intel and everybody participating, and then they shut it down. They wanted to collect intel. That's what they do. Now they're executing their plan. All right, so here we're talking about this. Grass Valley, which is down the road from Paradise. It's off of Highway 80 on the way up to Tahoe, Nevada City. Look at this. PG&E crews set up camp in Nevada County to eliminate wildfire threats. Look at, they got the tents. They're set up. What are they staging? Why are they there? They're not leaving. Oh, gosh. All right. Hey, Jamie, I was talking to my brother who served in Iraq and saw this kind of stuff. Cars were completed, melted down with human remains inside. Or we'd find vehicles half charred where you could see a distinct edge where it burned and the rest was intact. These intact trees and green lawns next to a heap of ashes reminded me of this. They test the stuff overseas, then bring it here and use it on our people. In October 1991 as well, October 19th, Oakland Hills in Bay Area got torched, and we have the same MO, cars. And this is the same time, 1991, with the first Operation Iraq. Shock and awe. Shock and awe. Look up shock and awe. So that's first-person testimony, if they can be accounted for, that was in the military seeing the same thing here. It's coming home to roost. All right, another important narrative here. Okay, I went and joined a Campfire Missing page, and it's very sad. These people are still having some sort of hope in finding their loved ones, and the reality of it all is that they're probably incinerated in the fire. Almost 1 month later, they had a death toll of 88 or whatever it is. A town of 27,000 in Paradise and 50,000 people combined in the outlying areas, and they say under 100 people have died. That is a lie. This event far exceeds 9/11 and every event in the U.S. since 2001. There are thousands who died there November 8th, and they don't want to tell you that. A list came out of just 695 homes that were destroyed, and that's just a drop in the bucket. Not only that, they announced that residents will not be able to live on their properties for 12 to 18 months. Why? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but cremated bodies is just one of them. I'm sad for all these people. This video was right after the fire. Listen closely to what the man said, and beware, you'll see charred remains. That was the view of the skeleton inside the car, which I'm not going to repeat. Directed energy weapons can pretty much be used by drones now. And I want to talk about this number of 55,000 people because we need to use correct numbers, and we don't have anything to guide us by. But there was an article in the Guardian newspaper, the English Major League publication, that used the number 52,000 people that fled, that evacuated out of Paradise. 52,000 is what an official news source said was the number. Paradise, the town of 26,200 on Wikipedia, hasn't changed in 10, 15 years. To a person I talked to, Paradise has been growing like weeds. It did not include the unincorporated area, just the incorporated area, which could probably bring the number closer up to 52,000 people. Why did they use the term 52,000? That is the number. Where did they come up with? We don't know. So I said I wasn't going to show it, but we need to see it. Turn away if you don't want to see. This is a skeleton inside a car that was filmed in Paradise, folks. This is reality.
They pulled out my car. Let my car run. Now, this is the poor guy. Came down to get my crippled friend out. And he didn't make it. Nobody made it down here. These people all got burned out. I was right down below them here. And my friend, as the car's on fire, you can see he's dead. And his mother. I'm sorry, buddy.
I'm sorry too, buddy. Say a prayer, folks. No, the car is still on fire.
Buddy. Yeah, these people all phones in the front seats. These people got burned out in their cars like I almost did. Dead, dead, dead. Everybody here is dead. All 4 cars. I went to their house right here in this white car that just been out. She had to put her makeup on. She died because of it.
Find your inner strength, folks. This is hard to talk about. Hard to put out. More. They definitely were setting up weeks, capital letters, weeks, maybe even months before the fire at the golf course where you saw those camped on the way down from Paradise. I believe the golf course they're camped at was called Tuscan Ridge. I would see those lights from Highway 99, wondering what all the lights were, and I figured it out on Google Earth and cruising up to Paradise for work. What's also funny was I know I'm being monitored because I'm a truther. So am I. Natural gas rates to rise. They're getting rid of, they're going to all electrical homes here in Santa Rosa. All of California is required to have solar panels. Now let's get this right. Who are we blaming? PG&E? The Rothschilds? No, folks, it's above them. All right? The White House. Donald Trump, Jesuit school. Bill Clinton, Jesuit school. Lincoln was killed by R.C. Surratt's and hung 4 John Surratt's family, Roman Catholics. Washington, D.C., land donated by John Carroll. The White House is named after Andrew White, the first Archbishop Roman Catholic that arrived in Jamestown on the ship the Freemason. All right. I'm a realtor and just had a couple from Paradise stop at my open house. They received no warning of the fire, which they stated was caused by a piece of 100-year-old equipment. PG&E did not shut down the power line because it fed thousands of homes on their main line. Their son works for PG&E, who said the company will be sued and held liable. The older couple was completely baffled and angry that they received heavy wind weather warnings 4 days leading up to the fire, but absolutely no warnings when the fire started. They lost 2 rental homes and hope to rebuild them in Paradise, but no longer want to live there themselves after nearly being burned to death. People do not want to go back. Dead men do not speak. All right, again, this whole French thing is a setup, folks. Put your colors on. Remember Ukraine, the Orange Revolution? Very creepy talk on the Paradise fires. All right, here's another one. You researchers get on this one too, please. Pioneering research with UAS, unmanned aerial surveillance technology or something. This is a company right down the road in Nevada County. It's called Desert Research Institute, or DRI, DRI.edu about. The applications are boundless. These are the weather modifiers, possibly. Solving pressing environmental problems with collaborative research. We seek to be the world's scientific leader investigating the natural and effects of natural and human-induced environmental change and advancing environmental technologies aimed at assessing a changing planet. We will achieve this vision by increasing scientific knowledge and understanding the Earth's environment, promoting preservation of a diverse ecosystem. Look at their logo, folks. You see this with the flame thing here? What do you think that's doing? See this one here with the chemicals coming out of it, folks? What do you think that's doing? And this one up here? What's this technology all really about? Moving on. The Inner Bering Tunnel, International Bering Strait Tunnel and Railway Line. This is another massive project, including the Mega Cities 2030, about all the lines being put up, 2050, Make America Great Again. Here's the proposed China, Russia, Canada, America train line. However, you put that on a flat Earth map, and the map doesn't even have to go that long. Again, they're building it. I'm going to end it with this because this is just so absurd. This is their official narrative of the forest fire, folks. Northern California, this is the official story. This is what 60 Minutes said. This is what the Cal Fire Chief, Ken Pimlott, is saying occurred. And when you're listening to this, will you look at this picture, please? Look at this picture. Are you kidding me? A forest fire? A forest fire? I'm sorry. Anybody, you got to have, I'm not going to say it. All right, Northern California fire is growing at a rate of about 80 football fields per minute. 80 football fields. Football field is 360 feet long by 80 lengths per minute, or 28,800 feet per minute. Divided by 5,280, we get 5.54 miles times 60 minutes. They were traveling, the winds, means the Paradise winds was moving the fire at 327 miles per hour, the new abnormal, according to Cal Fire Chief, according to 60 Minutes. Unfrickin' real. And remember all the documentation we just heard? There was no winds. None. Zero. And PG&E is on record saying they didn't turn off the power because there was no winds to turn off the power. Which is it, folks? What is it? Well, we have to end on this one. This is a good one to end on. All right. I was married to an F-16 fighter pilot. Look up the Trail of Tears in Iraq if you want to see how they executed a 2-mile trail of people in their cars that they executed with drones back in 91. Again, Anthony Haywood chronicles that really well. I was married to an F-16 pilot. He said at our divorce, capital letters, do you really want to be with someone that when told will shoot and kill a bus load of children? Innocence lost. Indeed. We have much evidence, folks. We have much evidence. We need to get out the truth wherever it is. We need to get up there and help people. We need to start talking about how we can be the change. Look at this roof. You're going to tell me that's a forest fire? How does it burn from inside, folks? We have patents for HAARP that show this happens. We have so much evidence. Where's the professionals? Where are the people speaking out? Where's everybody that wants to help? We need everybody. Boots on the ground. We can only rely on each other. Here's another one I want to bring up. Evacuation drills, thanks again to supposedly Shelley. Evacuation drills were conducted in Paradise in 2016 and 17, capital letters. No one was alerted by the systems they are telling us we all should sign up for. Next cell out here. Many victims we spoke with said PG&E and FEMA were there weeks before November 8th. We've confirmed that as well. All right. In previous emergencies such as the Orville Dam failure and the October 2017 Honey Run fire, Bird and his neighbors received alerts by phone. This is from the Chicoer.com. Campfire Paradise residents say they received no mass cell phone alerts. This time, nothing. Aware of the risk after 2008 Humboldt and lightning wildfires, Paradise had drafted a detailed evacuation plan. 2008, detailed evacuation plan with the town carved up into zones for orderly exits. It staged a 2-hour practice evacuation on 2016. Evacuation maps were distributed to residences, and it rehearsed a phone communications center. Once Paradise residents escaped their homes, they found chaos on the roads. The town has 27,000 residents, but only 3 main exits. Quote, we were dead stopped in traffic, and you couldn't see. Everything was raging. Power poles were falling. It was raining ash. It sounded like war. I saw one power pole down, folks. So power poles falling with no trees falling on them. What the heck are they talking about? Quote, we drove straight through flames, but it was only the way to get out of town. It was the only way you knew. News of the fire was first announced on Twitter at 6:51 a.m. last Thursday when officials reported they were working to access a 10-acre blaze in the Camp Creek Road area near Highway 70 in the Feather River Canyon 20 minutes after the flames had been spotted. The first evacuation, also posted on Twitter, was announced about 80 minutes later at 8:03 for the Pence Road area along Paradise's eastern flank closest to the fire. Sound asleep, yet only 6 miles away, Bird knew nothing. Tech savvy, the 34-year-old had registered for the city's opt-out and code red alert systems, but no message aroused him. All right, and then we got the hidden in plain sight, folks. Here, Cirque du Soleil is holding Volta under the Big Top here out in the Bay Area coming up. Now, is it a coincidence that the Sierra Nevada Beer Company, Butte, is making the Resilience Beer in Butte County and Resilient Cities is what they're planning? I know Mountain Dew Code Red's been out for years, but how coincidental. They have a Revolution, they have a Voltage, and then here, notice the can is separated a little bit to the side, Supernova. And then we have these other ones that say Live Wire, Blackout, Democracy, It's a Choice. I mean, they're making fun of us, folks. They're making fun of us. Here's a little bit of picture so you can see the full montage. Pitch Black, Live Wire, and then this is the Volta under the Big Top. Opens November 15th. How coincidentally, opens February 13th. And then we have the Truth Warriors. My honor to be dear friends with these two people, Deborah Tavares and Alana Freeland. They're getting the word out as best they can. They've been covering this for a long time. We've been watching this going on and on and on. Here's another thing we got to flesh out. Might as well get it all out. All right, so prepping the crime scene for the big event on 11/9/11/8. Soil in the January 2018 to create the right combustion environment. Several told us white powder was all over the treetops right after the fire. Rains came 2 days later after the fires and wiped out all evidence. We just learned from a veteran, many confused about the mystery powder. The mysterious white powder has Magalia and Paradise residents concerned. This was from 2018 story about white powder being on their cars. Now, is this aluminum oxide they were spraying to prep the ground in January so it'd be soaked up so that attacks could be continued? I don't know, but there's many reports of white powder on the trees and the white powder being sprayed before. Here's another important document. This is how they set the narrative. They set the meme. They start releasing little things on Twitter that get followed up and picked up. NBC Bay Area has learned that authorities, what authorities, investigating the deadly campfire have tied its origin to the failure of a single steel hook. The lone steel hook, the lone gunman. It's all just one thing causing everything. That held up a high voltage line on a nearly 100-year-old PGE transmission tower. So that's why we have to bury the lines, because we can't trust the above ground. We're going below ground. See how they set the meme. Picture's worth 10,000 words. And again, folks, they're just mocking us. This is the Paradise Learner's Permit Burnout game. I guess it's a gamers, car gamers thing. Paradise Burnout Remastered. Welcome to Big Surf Island. They just make fun of us about all of this. They have many manipulations on how to do it. False trust, subliminal messaging, predictive programming, trauma. They hire the highest and brightest PhDs to work on mind control. They know us better than we do. They got us using their language. We languish in our language. Definition is definitions. We go to court because it's a hearing, because we testify. You used to have to grab your testicles to testify. All right, take a look at this. This is from the Paradise Winery fire back in Santa Rosa, and you can clearly see the lightning, the directed energy attacks occurring from the security camera. Check this out.
In Napa County, one winery owner retorting to the remains of his building. He says he watched the flames engulf the property using a security camera app on his phone.
Now this is slowed down, that's why you hear that sound. But look at what the flashes are. Look at how the hundreds and hundreds of flashes going on out there. This is the middle of the night. This is 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when they attacked. This is what happens, and this we have prime evidence. It also happens to be the Paradise Winery that this is occurring at. I'm going to continue on a little more because I need to get this all on record of what we know so far. Paradise was central meeting location for New California statehood movement. There's also that there were old people, mostly Old Town. That's not true. Go to census.gov, and you will see that it was very mixed race, and that also that it was the elderly. There was not a preponderance of elderly in the town. Another meme as well. Let's see what else we got down here. Now, the crisis actor, I'm not confirmed that was a crisis actor, but that went pretty viral on that as well. I asked the question, and then people picked up on it. Here's another first-person account. That wasn't really relevant here, but, you know, the New World Order, they're telling us what to do, how to do it, and we're all just following through like the little sheeple we are, except for this person. Be that person, folks. Speak out. They can't unhear you. Even if, here's another one speaking out. We got 2 now. We're growing. So speak out and find your tribe. It's really important to start sharing with others what is happening, what is going on, and what you are learning about, what we're all learning about. We're all learning that Elon Musk is putting up 5G from space, and it's going to be internet beamed down with lasers to all our internets, our cars. The Wi-Fi is going to be running the batteries to the cars, the charging stations. Gas stations are going away. That's why they hit Hurricane Harvey, who has all the oil refineries, because they're getting rid of gas. Like I said, here in Santa Rosa, no new homes are going to be built with gas. It's all electric. They're going all electric, and they're putting it up in space. That's why you here's PG&E saying 200,000 power baseload, solar base space power. Google Solarin Corp, folks. Learn what's happening. The Space Force, by evangelical Mike Pence, Vice President. The Space Force, that's about these space platforms. And the whole story is about people losing power. Now, I've chronicled in many of my videos about the space-based power that's to come. So all this ground-based energy, people are losing power everywhere. It's all about the power, but they're going to be bringing it from the sky using the sun simulators, radio frequencies, and lasers. Why? Because Earth is on fire. Earth is being flooded. The ground energy suppliers can't be doing that. I just saw 666 somewhere. Phone number 66, no. PG&E to turn off the power before extreme dangers. Here's the patents for the Solarin Corp out of Manhattan Beach with all the military on the board of directors, folks. Everybody's got the patent. They're going to space-based power. They're going to be running it from the sky. These are the big solar collectives they're building everywhere. $2.5 billion, 1,600 sources, bright source. They beam it down to here, concentrate the energy, and they've got super power. Look at these things, folks. They're going up all over the world. It's not just the United States. Here's the patents on it. Can it get any more clear for those with eyes to see and ears to hear what's happening to our world? Don't give in to the fear. If you want to face the fear, use the word fear to mean face everything and respond, not flee everything and run. This is the time of the greatest awakening in modern history of mankind. The Mayan calendar of December 21st, 2012, they predicted this 5,163-year calendar in stone predicted this exact time for the consciousness to be crossing the great rift above the Milky Way from one side of the hemisphere to the other, just like consciousness is rising with us from the left hemisphere of drill down, analytical, breaking things apart, male, to the female, nurture, nature, right side of our brain, emotions, big pictures, and right in between is the synapse of the two brains communicating, and that's what we have now. There's a short window that we have to start to wake up and be the change we have to see. But I am promoting look, touch, and feel communities. Only people you can look, touch, and feel. Only ones you can get in contact with. Now, Japan had 54 nuclear reactors operating when Fukushima allegedly hit. Yet Japan didn't lose any power, folks. What do you think Japan has? Neon signs everywhere. They didn't lose any power. Tesla has had free energy for a very long time. And then the scumbags like Darius Anderson, Sonoma Power, he's also a PG lobbyist, also owns the Press Democrat newspaper here, also got James Lee Witt, former FEMA director, to come in here and rebuild North Bay. FEMA. They're taking over the federal government, and then the Walmarts. It's going on and on. This is an operation they call Black Sky Hazard for high magnitude earthquakes. Google the movie America if you want to see what's happening. 1987 ABC miniseries, 14 hours, 2 hours a night for 7 days. It was about 10 years after an electromagnetic pulse event hit the United States and shut down all the power in the United States. And when they turned it back on, the Russians had control of the United States. That's a premise that was written about. It was a movie made about. It was the most expensive ABC miniseries in history to tell us that the power was going to be turned off, or a scenario that it might. Predictive programming indeed. And then again, the new abnormal. Here's our local county drafting plans for power outages. All about the power and resources. Human resources, folks. They call us human resources in the departments of the U.S. government. Just like water resources. They consider us chattel or cattle. All right? And here's the numbers again. Well, I think that about covers everything. This one here, number 24, I get into all the resource extractions that are going on in California. They're building 5 mega dams because they said with the drought, we're not going to have enough water, or the 40% water that comes off the Sierras won't be coming, so we're going to have to build mega dams. It's also where you can see from this picture here, so I can blow this up. That's kind of the wrong terminology to use, but you can go to this video. I'm not going to pull it up right now because I've been talking too long, but this is the route of the railway, the great super railway that's supposed to go up, aligning almost perfectly with the burn areas occurring so far. So California is being turned into resources, resource extraction. Industrial rail lines are going up 300 miles up to Eureka during the Great Redwood Trail, which they're putting in, and they need the trees cleared. As Jerry Brown said, we might as well start dropping trees to prevent the fires. And then we got the gold in the hills as well. So it's all about resource extraction as well. Remember, these guys have many, many, many different agendas they use all at once. All right, this is another. Look at the back of this plane setting out this what they call a contrail. But here we can see the drones. These are about 400 feet in diameter. These are, I think they're SR-A32Bs. And you can see the triangle shapes. These are their ships they have above us, folks. And let's get into these pictures because this is important. So these vapor trails, these colored condensation trails, whatever, this is emitting the chem plastic that are going up there. Now you can see these triangles more clearly. You can see coming out of the back right here. Here's the triangle coming out of the back, the emissions they put out into the sky. They also have invisible ones as well. Again, you can see them coming out of the back of these. Sometimes they're standing on end, so you have to look back. This was the air. This was in the sky. Notice this looks like Elon Musk's rocket ship out of Santa Barbara. Same thing we saw up here and in other areas. It was not a rocket launch at all. This is over the Chico. This is over near the Chico area in the Sierra foothills as well. Those are pictures that same day. Again, you can see the triangle shapes in the clouds. And then here, this is my post showing the drones, the type of drones. This is industrial surrealism. industrialsurrealism.com, who's chronicling this. Look at the airships up here, folks. They can create lightning from the ground. They can create it from the sky. They connect ones with each other to amplify it as well. We're dealing with highly, highly advanced technology, and it cannot be denied any longer. We have drones parked above us now in Santa Rosa. There's 3 of them. There was 1. Everybody's oblivious. Oh, those are stars. No, they're only 800 feet in the sky, folks. Just use your brain. What's going on? And again, drones, drones, drones everywhere. We are under attack. We are under attack on many different fronts, but please do not give in to the fear. All right, so in closing now, I put out this announcement, notification for people to come together. We need to find our tribes. We need to speak out. All of you Truth and Awakening people, you know how hard this is. You know how your family members, your friends, your colleagues, your workers, they don't understand you. You've tried to speak out and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth because it's difficult. They want to just keep the party going. Life's good. Hey, don't ruin my buzz. I've been called Dark Cloud, as I said. It doesn't matter now, folks. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the future of all life. We must sacrifice to the sacred. And I want to relate just a quick story about a dear friend of mine, Bruce Hillier. He had the website moderngnostic.com and geognostic.com. He and I were just a tag team of research. We got some great intel out there. And he called me one morning. I didn't pick up the phone, and that night he took his life. It got too dark for him. Don't give in to the darkness. We need you. You're awakening. Find your strength. Learn about Chiron, the wounded healer that goes through the darkness, the darkest hour, and comes back again. Study Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief to understand where you and others are in the grief process. We need people to descend on Paradise now with caravans and cameras. We need you to report what you're seeing. We need records and first accounts of their own observations. Remember, this is being billed as the greatest disaster in California history. No, it's the greatest disaster in U.S. history. I have several people who wish to start YouTube. Let's get help. Get these people trained. Let's get our voices out and be heard. Please, tag your it. We need help. I can't be the lone wolf and supposedly Shelley and Deborah Tavares and some of these other Truth by Grace, Dutch Sense, just to name just a very few, and Anthony Haywood and Wendell and Melanie. All you guys are doing incredible work. We need you all to step up now and help and assist us. This is about all of us. We're going to come together. We're going to rise through this. It's not going to be easy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If they say it's the next 10, 15, 20 years, folks, we're in the first inning, and the score's 29-0. They're playing the game. We need to get up to bat. We need to have our voice. If any of you are finding this really difficult, we're going to set up groups where people can share and talk, especially the men. The men that wake up in their 50s and 60s in Europe or Russia, when Glasnost and Perestroika, when Soviet Union was toppled, they had believed in Stalin and Lenin, only to have their children come home and tell them that, Dad, that idols that you've been worshiping and telling us to worship, murdered 20 to 40 million of their own people with the help of the Jesuits. Speak your truth, folks. Find your game. We need all hands on deck, all right? And I honor all of you that are awakening. I honor all of you that stayed here for this video and are speaking your truth. I know we don't have it all right, but we're putting it together. So please help and assist where you can. Appreciate it. If you can donate any money, I guarantee it'll get to these people. All right, Plain Truth out. We'll catch you next video. And love one another, folks. Hate cannot conquer hate. Only love can conquer hate. And as Martin Luther King said, there comes a time when silence is betrayal. Tag, you're it.